gang, gang. Hey, nothing but love and respect. You might have some cool fans, but mine are the best. We've been through it all, went to war when duty called. Never left a man behind, we move as one is super strong. I don't want followers, that implies I'm the leader. I'm not the captain, I just gave them something they can believe in. I hold the lamp in the darkness, but they're the light that I needed to see the road that we walk in between the angels and demons. And my fans have my back. Hate us if your feelings don't like facts. And my fans will fight back. Beat you with the keyboard you've been using to write back. I guess we need each other like both sides of the battery. We the army, we the homies, we the gang, we the cavalry. We're brothers and sisters, we hold it down like we gravity. Can't nobody break the bond that made us all family.
Me and my fans, we don't care what anybody say. Middle fingers to whoever in the way, man. Me and my fans, we gon' be together to the grave. It's a game till forever and a day, man. Me and my fans, we don't even trip in the hate. We got all in our veins, man. Me and my fans,
we the hangover gang. Gang, 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 gang.
Oklahoma weather can dish out some of the worst punishment in the world. Hi everyone, I'm meteorologist Tuttle. But now you can fight back by installing Class 4 impact-resistant shingles from Ferguson Roof Systems. These shingles can withstand large hail, heavy rain, and hurricane-force winds, all while keeping your home safe and dry. And the best part? This upgrade is completely free for many homeowners. So call today to start reaping the benefits these Class 4 shingles bring, including a discount on home insurance. Only at FergusonRoofSystems.com.
Hey there, meteorologist Tuttle, back with you again. It is about 5 minutes until noon. Run a little late today. I had some things to clean, so it took me a minute to get caught up. But did look at the latest details on the weather, and we've got, obviously, a storm still to talk about. So get to the details on the timing and what you can expect here for the rest of today and tonight and tomorrow. Facebook, I just posted that link, so if you're having trouble getting notified when I do go live, you can click on that and get opt-in to where I will send you a personal message when I am good to go. That way you don't miss anything. Okay, so first things first. We've got some clouds that are starting to roll in a little bit, and there's a cold front pressing into central Oklahoma. I'll show that here in a second. My backyard, believe it or not, I've got a north wind now. So that means I am now on the north side of the cold front. So I've got a north wind that's now moving up to around 5 to 10 miles an hour, so it's not a big push just yet. It's getting there. Temperatures now at 46 degrees, and that is probably starting to fall, and it'll continue to fall now for the rest of this afternoon. So now you know the intricacies of how our weather's already beginning to change. So here's a look at the current surface map, which shows you where the front is. These little arrow barbs shows you the change in direction. This is kind of a northeast wind here. This goes into a north wind here in central Oklahoma County. Back out here to the south and west, on into southwest Oklahoma. So this is where the front is pressing southward with time, and it will continue to work its way south first and then southeast later. It's a lot of times you'll get a bigger push in this region of the state going south before you get a good push to the south and east. So it takes a little while to clear southeastern parts of the state. Needless to say, though, temperatures up here to the 20s and teens back behind in the colder air. And like I say, we're starting to fall here from the lower 50s in the central Oklahoma quickly into the lower 40s. So about a 10-degree temperature drop and about a 30-minute time window once that front does arrive. Okay, let's take a look here. We've got the consensus of the models continue to show pretty good amount of snow here for Oklahoma City, for example. It's just they average out to about 1 inch here, so at least that's measurable, and that's it's something to build a little bit of a baby snowman in. The ensembles from the short-term high-resolution models are finally coming on in around. I've ignored this for the last 3 days because I was out to lunch. It had us a total snowfall amount of I think like 200ths or something stupid, so it's finally got up to 1 inch on the median. There are some higher amounts up to 2, and there's of course some lower amounts there as well, but that's the average. We talked about another big change in the storm system. Here's a look at the jet stream pattern, which shows you the energy working its way right here in Oklahoma, North Texas, and extends up to the Great Lakes. So that is our storm maker aloft around 15,000 feet in the atmosphere. If we go down to around 5,000 feet in the atmosphere, you can really time out when the best lower level lift starts. So here is Thursday afternoon. You can start to see some more colors showing up. This is thanks to the cold front itself and the moisture trapped within it. Now, if you notice, these colors get a little bit brighter here by 6 o'clock this evening. and they continue out west. So what that means is we'll start to get our precipitation developing. It'll be very light at first. We're talking freezing drizzle, some very light freezing raindrops and showers. Probably get a little bit of sleet mixed in at some point here. As we get into the evening and overnight, a new wave kicks in out west around the midnight hour on 3 o'clock in the morning. And then at the daybreak tomorrow, 6 a.m., you can see the heavy amounts showing up here in the model data, indicating our next big wave is moving through. So there's mid-morning Friday, here's lunchtime, and then here is 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. Now, most of the lift at this point in time is starting to move out of Oklahoma City and Tulsa, so I don't expect much other than maybe a few flurries at this point in time, whereas most of the good stuff will kind of be down focused in this area as that lift in the atmosphere moves away. And then by the evening, after about probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, it's pretty much out of Oklahoma. And then our system is over with. So it's a short mover. Now we talked about also the warm layer hidden in the atmosphere, which you can't see, but it's there. And that's what's causing this wintry mix. If I stop you here at this evening at 6 o'clock, the freezing line in all levels of the atmosphere, we're looking at about 850 millibars, about 8,000 feet. This should be mostly snow in this region. Now, initially, you can get just a little bit of freezing drizzle mixed in at the surface for different processes, but for the most part, anything substantial coming down the clouds will be snow. Whereas here, we had that little wintry mix of some sleet, freezing rain, and eventually some snow in this region along the I-44 corridor. Early on, it'll eventually change over to all snow because you will notice by tomorrow morning, this blue line starts to now move south into southern Tulsa County, south to Norman. So the data really hasn't changed any at all in this event since we started looking at it on Sunday. So that's good news. It means the models did a really good job at honing into the specifics and the details. Okay, so let's talk about the timing on the precipitation breakout here for you for the rest of today. So you know the cold front's coming in, so if you haven't dressed appropriately, you might as well do so. And if you look at 7 o'clock, and this is where the models are kind of flip-flopping a little bit on timing, they're already breaking out some light freezing drizzle and some very light snow grains here over parts of northern, northeastern Oklahoma, northwest, and probably even here in the metro after 6 o'clock. Tulsa, a little bit of rain because the cold front hasn't quite given you the cold enough air to freeze that over yet, but just to your north and west. There's 7 o'clock, and here's 8 o'clock, and here's 9 o'clock. You can see the models are still indicating a little bit of this pink action right here, which indicates a little bit of that freezing drizzle, very light freezing rain. I won't get a sounding here today. They're having some trouble with their servers. But what this shows you is that each time we've looked at this, it's put off the transition to this developing about an hour later. So right now it's saying 9 o'clock. I'm always leery about the exact timing on this kind of stuff when you have that shallow Arctic air in place. So just say anytime after 6, we're going to be heading out around the Oklahoma City metro, points north or northeast or even out west. Keep an eye on the roadways. Check my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. On my website, you can get to it, aarontutterweather.com. You can get to it inside the app. But when you do, make sure you visit the road conditions tab, and you will see exactly how bad or how not bad the roads are at any given point in time. Now, we do factor in what's going to happen overnight into tomorrow. A very light glaze of ice is still expected, only a few 100ths. But that's all it takes to cause an ice skating rink at the wrong time. And unfortunately, this will be the wrong time. It'll be overnight into early tomorrow morning, and that's before we get the snow on top of it. So there will be some travel spots out there that there's going to be some accidents. It goes without saying every time we get one of these little systems. When you talk about the snowfall and the timing on that, let's go ahead and get you up to date there. So the snow will start to develop out in northwest Oklahoma. Already seeing some patchy drizzle mixed in, like around Woodward area. Later this morning. So some freezing drizzle mixed in with some of the snow grains at first, and then it'll go to all snow pretty quickly up that area into Kansas. So you can see the snow is beginning to build. We're starting to see that measurable snow now starting to show up in the data as we head into the 5 and 6 o'clock hour tomorrow morning, and therefore it just kind of goes downhill because that's just the beginning of that big wave of energy that moves in for us. So that means the snow should continue to develop throughout the day. So here's noon tomorrow. Still snow pressing off into eastern and southeastern Oklahoma and adding up. So there will be pockets where we see probably 3 inches of snow, maybe even 4. They're not going to be widespread. There's going to be a few of them out there, but a lot of us are going to get anywhere in the 1 to 2 inch range. And you do see the models indicating kind of some dry regions across northern Oklahoma. And I just know a lot of the forecasts had most of the snow in this region, well, that actually might bomb completely. Most of the heavier snow may be in a region like this, for example. The models usually don't do that well at picking out the exact positions of the heaviest snow. For example, if we look at the European data just by itself, look where it has the centroid of the most snow. It's right along I-40, east and west, back up to Tulsa, just north of Oklahoma City to Stillwater, along 412 to Enid. And then back out in this region, we're widespread. There's 2 inches with some 3-inch pockets in that particular data set. And if we do look at the ensembles for the European, it does show you that the average of this is about 2 inches of snow here in Oklahoma City. It has not budged. It's been very consistent here for central Oklahoma. Now we do look at total snow. If we kind of blend all the models together and just use an average, even that looks pretty decent. Remember, this is on the conservative side, so it's not taking one model over another. It kind of blends them all together, and so you get a little bit of a lower number when you average it out. But even then, it's got 1 and 2 here in central Oklahoma, around Oklahoma City. That does mean, though, unfortunately, if you live south, like around Norman, you might not quite get a full inch. You're going to be right on the edge, and then especially south from there you go, less likely to get significant measurable snow. But the more north you go from I-40 onward, the better odds you have at seeing some pretty measurable snowfall. Let's see here, and just to kind of show you how the trend has been to take it away from the north and put it into the central sections. Here's the Icon model, the German model, and it's anchoring right here over central Oklahoma and points east up to 3 to 4 inches. So that's what I'm saying. On the snowfall forecast, guys, trust me, I would love to give you an accurate snow amount 5 days away, 4 days away, 3 days away, 2 days away. But here we are a day before, and they're still trying to refine where it thinks the heavier tracks are going to be. Snowfall forecasting, trust me, is the worst, hardest thing to do in meteorology. Is just the way it is. The physics involved with that and the models that we try to use to display that is just terrible. But hey, we're getting better. Maybe eventually in 100 years from now, we'll have it nailed down. All right, temperatures. Well, we know it's going to be kind of chilly out there. Let me start you at our current readings here, about lunchtime. So here's kind of an influence of where you kind of see this little light green area. So that's kind of the leading edge of the cold air that's coming in. The bigger push, a little deeper push, is in this darker blue shading where temperatures there are below freezing. And you'll notice as we go through time, that little air mass continues to slowly work south and east. We start to cool down, and by 6 and 7 o'clock, it's got us now into the mid to lower 30s here in the metro, freezing on the west side of town, still above on the east side. Again, we're splitting hairs. I would just go ahead and say, look, 6 o'clock, expect it to be 32 degrees. Or slightly lower, especially west side of town you go, because the models always underestimate the cold air intrusion. So let's just play it safe. Okay, now overnight tonight, we'll fall into the 20s, and then as we head into tomorrow, we're going to try to rebound you. Some areas probably into the mid to upper 30s out in northwest Oklahoma. I don't know if you'll see 40, it'll be close. But the rest of us, though, should be in the low to mid 30s. Again, I think that's a little too warm. But at least the models aren't going crazy warm like they were before. Okay, so on Saturday morning, just so you know, we'll be starting out once again into the 20s and some teens, where you get the valleys, light winds, some of that little snowpack. You will find areas that are much colder than this, into the single digits. So that's going to be how you're going to start out your Saturday, and then they'll rebound in the afternoon pretty decently. So by the end of the day, you've got 40s and some 30s in far northeast Oklahoma, and you got 50s in southwest Oklahoma. So at least this system is kind of gone here one day and gone the next. Now, wind chill values we talked about also be dropping off here for the rest of today. So by 5 o'clock this afternoon, it's got wind chill values here in the lower 30s. I would subtract a few degrees off of that to the 20s, and then we'll keep it into the 20s overnight tonight in the evening, and into the teens as more of that colder air builds in. The winds pick up a little bit more. So you're starting off your Friday with wind chill values in the teens, and even some single digits likely. You get little pockets of purple that show up. Most of it will be in the teens. It's not terrible compared to what we've seen in the past. But throughout the day, it'll be quite cold and chilly, so make sure you bundle up. Wind chill values will stay into the 20s by late afternoon. We did talk about the winds being a little gusty throughout this period from off and on between now through Sunday. So here are the wind gusts up to around, close to 20 miles per hour this afternoon, and then going up closer to 30 this evening, and overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. So a little windy out there. Thank goodness we don't have a heavy ice load on any of this stuff is very, very light glazing for the roadways, because otherwise we have to deal with power outages, and right now not looking at that for this system, which is good. All right, tomorrow morning we're still quite windy, and then throughout the course of the day we'll shove those winds out of here, and by the evening they will calm down to just very light winds for Friday evening. Now on Saturday the winds will pick up again for the afternoon, but not as bad. We'll be up around 20 to 25 miles per hour at most. And then on Sunday, so Saturday night and a Sunday morning, they really pick up. Winds back up to around 30 to 40 throughout the that period on into Sunday afternoon. And that'll lead us also into Monday, just so heads up. So if you are expecting anything that has to deal with some wind conditions, like painting or whatever, just know it's going to be quite windy. Make sure you use the weather app, AT's Weather to Go, to get the latest on that. Temperatures, cold again, obviously, for the rest of today. So these numbers are falling. So say goodbye to what we had. It's already over. Then we're going to be in the cold day on side. Pretty good rebound here on Saturday. Weekend looks decent for temperatures for the latter part on into early next week. We have another cold front that comes in. I think it was right around Thursday with a couple of showers and thunderstorms. I haven't looked beyond that as far as anything of magnitude that could cause some trouble. Let's see. And then last but not least, let's see. Let me take a look at this guy here. So I'm looking at Tulsa just to show you how the models are indicating that light precipitation to develop this afternoon. So this is right around 4 or 5 o'clock, so some light rain developing. And it does have a transition period right around 9 where it transitions over from light rain to freezing rain, freezing drizzle, and some sleet mixed in through midnight into about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Then it has you transitioning back over into snow, picking up a couple of inches of snow. And then after that, it's over with for Friday afternoon, because you can see right here, got a lot of low-level dry air that comes in. You should have some upper-level moisture, and some of this will fall down in the form of some light snow flurries. So you'll still get some light snow flurries that penetrate this little area through the late afternoon, but the bulk of your snow will be from the morning hours through lunchtime. And that's the same thing for Oklahoma City. So if I were to show you Oklahoma City, it's very similar. Our window, getting a little bit of like freezing rain, drizzle, sleet, through the overnight into early tomorrow morning. Then we have our snow, and then it ends 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Might squeeze out a couple flurries after that for another hour or so from this batch here, and then that's about it, and then we kind of quiet down. So that's how that looks. And then finally, looking at the radar currently here in Oklahoma City, again, no precipitation is developed yet or into the Tulsa area, but that will be changing as we head into this evening. Man, I can breathe now. Anyway, so that is a lot crammed down your throat in about 10 to 15 minutes. I try to get as much information to you as possible. Teach you how and why and when things happen and the reasons for them. That way you can kind of learn as you go along. So you can be on the same page and you can know exactly what's going to happen and why it's going to happen. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can see the data yourself, and I can walk you through it. And then that way you guys are the most educated Oklahoma weather peeps out there. How about that? Let's see. Andrea's already want to know severe weather predictions for this year. You guys are funny. Is Tahlequah going to get some snow? Yes, Tahlequah will get a little bit of snow. So just so you know, and I use that word, I use that phrase a lot. Jody got me hooked on that because we did it as a joke, and now I'm finding myself say it all the time. I got to cut that out. But hope probably about 2 inches in Tulsa. So it'll vary just like any other place. Somebody will get an inch, somebody get 2, and then depending on where you are, you'll be either happy or sad. I don't do long-term severe weather seasonal forecasts. I tried it for a while just to see if we had made any progress in that department for long-range skill. We haven't. So it was pointless to even attempt to do because it would never pan out. But what's funny is people do it all the time anyway, and human nature is funny because there's no accountability anymore, everywhere, anywhere. It just doesn't happen. So if the TV guy gets on there and tells you, oh, it's going to be a really nasty spring and this, that, and the other is going to happen, and then nothing happens, well, that's because they've already focused on the fall or the winter weather or the summer heat, and they don't even mention the spring season anymore. It's like it never happened, and then you forget about it because now you're focused on the summer and then the fall and the winter. Because what's the winter outlook going to be, right? And then it's back that, what's the spring outlook going to be? Well, then what's the winter outlook going to be? And then it's silly. So I don't even play the game. I think it's so ridiculous. So I give them to you as we approach week by week. Sometimes you get about a 2-week heads up, maybe, kind of on a pattern change if something's going to be coming our way. But you can only take the meteorology science so far before you start getting into wish casting. Wish casting to me is silly. A lot of storm chasers will do wish casting, and this is why you'll see a lot of those graphics and images shared online, because it's all wish casting. I hope the worst of the worst happens. So it can be entertaining, but I like to keep it, normal. Okay, so listen, I gotta get out of here. It is just almost 12:15. Appreciate you guys stopping by today. As always, appreciate your thoughts, concerns, comments, suggestions, hate, love, whatever you have for me. It's all good. Thanks for liking, sharing this video with friends and family, downloading my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, checking out my website, AaronTuttleWeather.com, because you can get the road conditions there just like that, literally like that. It takes you 2 seconds, and you don't have to wait on TV for 15 minutes to get an update. You got it at the click of your finger. You can click on any picture on there and any video source on there, and you'll see exactly what it looks like. We're doing that all winter, and everybody seems to appreciate that. And then I'll be back again tonight around probably 9:30, and then we'll see how the roads are starting to look and hold up by that point in time. And then we'll see exactly if anything's really changed, or do a little massaging if need be. I don't expect it. I haven't had to do it so far, so I don't expect any changes later on. But it's weather. We'll take a look at it anyway. All right, guys, have a great rest of your afternoon. Stay warm. Be safe. Talk soon. Take care.